And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Uno, two, tres, four.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to episode 7 of Anna Mondays. Brutal. How are you doing today?
All right, just tired.
Just tired?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm pretty tired too. But hey, you know what? I'm not tired enough to do this. In fact, I was so not tired, I almost missed today. I was so in the zone playing Resident Evil that I just was like, yeah, let's do this, let's kill this bitch. And I looked at the time and was like, oh, it's almost 7. It's like that
I was
meme.
literally just gonna just tell you in the chat, but I just didn't want to embarrass you.
No, you're fine. If you need to do that, please, because I looked over at Discord when I was setting up, and I just saw you sent me the Mr. Beam waiting GIF, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah, we
anyways,
should have started way earlier because.
Yeah, I know. Stuff happened. We couldn't start immediately when I wanted to, but them's the breaks for streaming.
Because I feel like it's a great time to mention FYI. I'm probably not gonna stick around over here for this stream.
Yeah, Bruno might need to disappear, maybe halfway through. He might be able to stay for the full stream, or he might have to dip in the next 10 minutes. It's kind of up in the air right now, so if anything,
I'm almost finished with my car project. Sometimes my dad is just.
Yeah, Bruno's got stuff he's got to take care of if need be. So if he dips out, then we'll have to say goodbye for him for this stream. But we'll see him next time we do another Anna Mondays, of course. I'll finish up tonight's stream.
Or maybe before, in case I do go, we might have to make an announcement. But
yeah,
or either that, or we'll probably make an announcement in his posts.
Yeah, we'll discuss that as the time needs us to discuss it. But for now,
yeah, because we're still thinking about what
Yeah.
we're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. But like, anyways, for right now, Bruto, I have a question for you, as I usually do.
Of course.
Okay, so the question of today's stream is, what would be the first place you'd like to visit if you went to Japan?
Ooh. I'd say probably Kyoto.
Kyoto? Any
Because
specific
Japan,
reasons?
Japan is just no, not Japan. Tokyo is just too obvious. To be honest, it's too obvious. Come on.
Any like, is there any specific like touristy stuff that you like in Kyoto, or like,
The historic temples.
ooh, the temples?
Yes.
Well, let's see.
I mean,
I'm
back
looking at
then,
Kyoto now. Welcome to
mean-
your Kyoto. For centuries, Kyoto has nurtured a elegant culture. Its emphasis on cleanliness, simplicity, and beauty stems from practices already integrated into its daily life. Treasure Kyoto with us. Oh, Homestates is Homestates. Kyoto is also known for profound serenity of timeless. Ooh, I love that. The actual fountains are like actual bamboo.
Yeah.
Yep, there's the echo.
Echo.
Yeah, like for some reason I can hear an echo, but once if I look back on the stream, the echo is not there. I'm hoping no one else can hear it. But yeah, ooh, I would honestly like to visit Kyoto too.
Yeah. Because if I just say Japan, no, not Japan. Fuck, I said it again. But if I just say Tokyo, that
Yeah,
would just be
Tokyo to
too,
go see like
too
Tokyo
obvious.
Tower and everything.
No, I like if we were to ask, like if I were to go with Tokyo, it would obviously be the Akihabara.
Same, like that's one of the places I would love to go to as
No,
well.
because then I could see the fucking Blue Archive, the current Blue Archive banner advertised.
Well, honestly, I'd want to start off with hitting the more like touristy spots myself, like going to Tokyo and then going to Akihabara because for that exact reason, because I'd
And
want to
also
get
go
all
to
that
the
stuff
maid
out of the
cafes.
way.
And also go to the maid cafes to show my enthusiasm for metal. Nah, I'm just
Exactly,
kidding.
but that's what I'm saying. I'd love to.
That
I'd
would
love
be
to.
pretty cringed.
I'd love to go there just specifically get that stuff out of the way, get all that stuff like taken care of, and then start hitting like the more less touristy spots. Like I would love to go see Osaka.
Oh, Osaka's awesome, dude.
Exactly, I would want to go there. I would want to see the farmland, how everything works, everything.
It would be pretty cool to visit in Okinawa.
I would actually want to go to visit Okinawa and see if like they actually have like locations because I from the place that I know Okinawa the most from is actually from the Karate Kid 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's what first came to mind.
Like look at the farmland. It looks so great. I'd love to visit Osaka.
Yeah. You know, it's one island I would definitely well, two islands.
What's that?
It would be both Cat Island and Rabbit Island.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely want to go to the Rabbit Island.
What about Cat Island?
Maybe Cat Island. I don't know. I'm not the. I like cats, but I'm not the biggest fan of cats. You know.
Oh, dude, if 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 my aunt was like going there, she'd be like just like
I won't lie though.
she'd be like
The thing
she'd
that
be
I'd
like
be
crazily she'd be crazily passed out of
Gotcha.
all the cats she's seen because she is such a huge cat lady, like a big ass cat lady.
Like for
Because
me
she just
specifically, for
She
me.
just loves cats. Like she really loves cats. Like she really loves cats.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
she's your crazy cat lady. Gotcha.
yeah.
But for me specifically, I'd love to visit Japan, not just for like the culture, not just for like to check out some of the historical sites and the shrines, and of course the otaku culture of anime and everything. But honestly, the food. I love Japanese cuisine so much.
Yeah, especially during the festivals too.
Not even just the festivals. Like I want to get like actual authentic steam buns,
Yeah. Or the
katsudon,
fish.
fucking
Or the
katsudon
fish.
specifically from. Oh, it'd be so delicious.
What about the fish?
I'd want to
With, like,
try
that-
some fish dishes, of course, but like I'm looking more
No,
forward
like the fish bread. That's like not exactly a fish, but it's like in
to.
the shape of a
Oh, I
fish.
see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would like to try a omurice.
There's actually a nice Japanese like restaurant, not too like in one of the bigger cities that I'm living near, that actually does omelet rice. My first time I went there with my friend, I got myself a bowl of ramen that was split in two. There was a creamier, like richer version, and there was a hot like spicy version. And I got some
Mm.
takoyaki along with that and gyoza, and he actually got the omelet rice.
Takoyakis. I love takoyakis, dude.
I love takoyaki as well. Takoyaki is so fucking delicious.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Bro, trust me, dude. I got a friend from California. He'd be going to like Little Tokyo and this other like Japantown in San Francisco.
here, Brutal, can you try just speaking up a bit like higher?
Yeah. No, I'm saying my friend from California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He'd be like going to fucking Little Tokyo and fucking Japantown in San Francisco.
Okay.
He'd be telling me like it definitely does feel authentic. I mean,
Okay.
it makes sense because, you know.
Yeah. All right. But anyways, so for tonight's stream, guys, we got a couple of updates on certain places we talked about last time, and then we have something new to talk about in general for our larger story. But let's start out with, of course, the smaller ones, and that being last stream we spoke about JoJo's from Netflix and how the creator basically said that he can't. He's excited to work on the next episode, but he doesn't know when that's coming out. And of course, fans were upset by this. There's been a bit of explanation. So, Screen Rant writes the article. Netflix has a new number one anime, and it's already a generational flop. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run has officially launched on Netflix, and it's already a massive hit. Not only has it premiered, been met with an incredible praise from fans and critics alike, but it's also debuted with 4.7 million views. And at the time of writing this, Steel Ball Run has even popped the top 10 non-English shows on Netflix. So, it's safe to say that Steel Ball Run anime is one of the biggest animes to come to Netflix. And it's all making a generational hit with Netflix anime lineup. Unfortunately, it appears that Netflix has already fumbled Steel Ball Run's release, and it also stands it mightn't be impossible for it to recover. So, again, as we spoke last time, we showcased the fact that Steel Ball Run was massively seen. Even, like I said, they debuted to 4.7 million people watching it. That's how many people were excited for this.
They were.
And
But
then literally...
didn't get but it was just only one episode.
Yeah, it was one episode.
Like,
and it's like...
people, it's like, dude, people expected more.
No, but it's not even just one episode. It's the fact that I heard it was one episode. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess Netflix is doing that new thing where they're like actually treating it like a TV show, where they'll come out with one episode a week. And the person who was talking to me was like, no, I mean, there's literally one episode. I'm like,
yeah,
was it like a movie? And they're like, no, you're not understanding. They like grabbed my face figuratively. It was like they only made a single episode, 22 minutes. And I'm like, no. And I looked, and yeah, there was only one episode listed with nothing. With usually, especially Wikipedia and like IMDb, it will show you like a scheduled listing of the episodes, and they will say to be announced for the rest, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't even that. It was just the one listing episode.
Yeah, it's definitely giving me a chuckle because it's like, bro, this is such a fucking.
Well, it's like, how do you fuck up this bad? But no, so they right here. Netflix got anime
like
fans.
People expected episodes to like come out like a few days or a week.
Well, like, okay, so for Netflix specifically, right? So Netflix typically had a tradition of like just
yeah, exactly.
all episodes dropped at once. So this way you could binge it. Like Netflix is the one that started the binging craze of why people just like expected to have like the entire season dropped, ergo, so you can just watch it on one weekend with your family or your friends or whatever, right? And like they started seeing kind of an issue with that because people would actually binge an entire season of a show and they'd be like, okay, now give me the next one. And like, we're still in production. He's like, well, I don't care. Give me the next one. And then like, calm down. We need to think back what we got to do here. So Netflix started changing it and actually producing episodes where that either they would release like a part 1 and like half the episodes, like 6 episodes, and release the other 6 later, or they would actually start treating it like television where they would showcase first 1 episode a week and then everything like that, right? Like traditionally how it was. So Netflix kind of has been asking for this for a while with like how they've been treating their media. The problem is specifically for this one, I generally want to sit down with like the producer, the creator of JoJo's, and like the actual CEO. And like, okay, so I'm gonna ask you this one question, simple question, very simple, right? How did this happen? Like usually for a studio, their production is we're going to make X amount of episodes. We have greenlit you to have X amount of episodes. Here's the money to create X amount of episodes, right? And they're like, right. I'm like, okay, let us take X amount of time to create X amount of episodes. And if we need more time, we then discuss that. They're like, right. So then in between those sections of your plan, what happened?
Exactly. What happened? People expected this shit to be like only a week or days.
I think people expected it. Like, what was even funnier to me is, like I said, when I was talking to a friend about this, like, I was so baffled because I was like, wait, so they're not doing a week by week basis? Like, no. I'm like, so did what is any news that's happened? They just couldn't think of anything. So here it says in Netflix says, for the moment JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steelbound Run was announced, a major question for everyone's minds was Steelbound Run's release schedule. While Netflix had gotten better at doing weekly releases, plenty of their shows had done suffer from the batch release, including Stone Ocean, and that could also easily be make up and break Steelbound Run as well. Unfortunately, the actual answer was worse than what fans could imagine. The interview with series director Yamayoshi Kuo stated that while the production is going smoothly, even he doesn't know when the next episode will be released, come out because how long it takes with a single episode of Steelbound Run. Notice that he's specifically seeing a single episode of Steelbound Run. It's not Netflix's fault that the production has been taking so long, but if there was only one episode ready, then shouldn't they have marketed it as such and waited until more episodes had been prepared, instead of keeping quiet about the run and risk of killing the hype surrounding the series? And people have already been calling them out. This is exactly our point here. Why didn't they wait? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, it's like,
So,
yeah, exactly.
So, like, I think what's really funny is that, like, I keep seeing people, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say cope, but I keep seeing people talk about, no, trust me, it's gonna happen. They're gonna release the episode soon, and this article doesn't say it, but I think it was an actual thing that here. Let me go see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure Chibi, like, mentioned it, and I keep having to go to Chibi for news. Here it is. Okay, so. Thousands of fans are bombarding Netflix with ruining Steelbound Run. There's rumors cycling that the episode 2 won't even air until October 2026.
No, it's not far, but at the same time,
Hold up. What do you mean that's not that far?
I mean, it does take a while, but honestly, there should be more episodes. It can't just be like
I agree, but we're just hitting April.
Yeah.
That's like 6 months away.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't.
Like, at least have all episodes in 6 months.
Oh my god, I love this question. This person
repeating the same process as just one episode 6 months later and then another 6 months. Yeah.
I love this question. This person named Johnny Thy Wicked says, which is worse, JoJo's Part 7 or One Punch Man Season 3 animation? And he asked Grok, what did Grok say? One Punch Man Season 3 episode is worse. It's full production failure. Stiffs some Grok. What the fuck?
Yeah, people are just...
Grok is base. It's been confirmed Grok is based.
I think I prefer my ChatGPT.
I agree. I like ChatGPT, but ChatGPT can kind of stupid.
I mean,
you have to word stuff, not even just super specifically. I mean, like downright to the smallest minute detail. If that is off, then ChatGPT doesn't really understand what the fuck you're asking it. But yeah, so like that's kind of like the issue. That's kind of like the issue. The rumor surrounding it is that they don't even know when the next episode is going to be released, but people are saying internally it probably won't be till October. And by that time, we don't even know what that means. Remember, they're saying episode 2 might release around October.
Like what I said. It could be just one episode and another month later.
But I gotta imagine if that's the case, Netflix is fucked. I don't think people, because like
Mhm.
you can't treat this like the digital circus, for instance, from YouTube. You can't treat this like a, if this was a YouTube indie animation, I could totally buy the fact that you have to wait several months to potentially even a year between animations, right? Because it's a small team of like six Tumblr and
Animators.
DeviantArt animators working on a series that they put their money into. This is
Yes.
Netflix, a giant streaming platform.
And
That,
not only that, but they're having a Japanese animation studio too.
exactly. So like there is almost, unless literally, like they didn't give, unless literally there was some complications with like the actual production and they only had one episode and they wanted to try to keep in line with some sort of
we could
schedule.
definitely excuse it for that, you know. At least we can cut some slack for that.
Well, no,
you know?
no, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to cut it slack. I think this is a huge fuck up on their part that honestly I don't think they can rectify in any way. Even if
Yeah.
let's say
Like, even if it's like the first time, you know. But if they're gonna continue doing this, then what the fuck are they doing?
no, but my thing is the fact that like let's say we can give them a 3-strike rule, right? Like you fuck up once, okay, that's your bad. You fuck up twice, okay, you're getting dangerously close to losing my subscription, and then you fuck up 3 times, you just cancel, right? Yeah, you can say that. The problem is, this isn't just a fuck up. This is a deliberate misstep on such a huge proportion because you have to ask yourself either A, Netflix is so unbelievably inept to believing that they can release one episode and people would be okay with just waiting for their other episodes to come months, even potentially a year later, or B, Netflix themselves are like wanting this show to like kind of fail by doing this because
Yeah.
at this point in time it's either malicious or retardation. There is almost no in between.
I'm pretty sure it's the second option.
It's probably retardation, but on a scale of like how bad retardation is amazing to me. Because again, this isn't this Netflix has done dumb things with anime specifically. Like Netflix has been stupid when it comes to their original shows and animations and live TV shows, right? Like
And not only that, but they've had a history of taking some massive L's, bro. And
No,
don't even get me started. And don't even get me started on cuties. That shit was godly a disaster.
I mean, it was, but like it's one of those things where like again, like you can go back and look at hindsight as 2020, but like at the same time, it's like that's something on the other side of the spectrum. Like we have to look at like who was in charge, who was producing, and so on and so forth. In this case, the actual creator of JoJo's, this is his series, so you have to also look at him and be like, what were you thinking when you were doing this?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of where we're leaving it. So right now, at this point in time, we don't even know if the second episode is going to drop in October. And even if it does that mean it's only going to be the second episode and then the rest? Or does that mean literally it's just going to be one more episode and we'll have to wait months later again for the next one? I don't know at this point. That your guess is as good as mine. I think it's just fucking funny that this was such a huge oversight on their part.
Yeah. It still gives me a chuckle.
But this does kind of lead into my next topic, which is an Anime Corner article saying the cost of anime prices of episodes have skyrocketed, demonstrating that Arch CEO Nano Horacio says. So basically, he's making an argument the fact that like for a while now we've been seeing an increase in money spent per episode on most animes.
Mm-hmm.
And his argument is essentially saying that it's treating it, the market is being treated as such, like depending on like the actual notoriety of a studio. Let's say for instance Studio Trigger, Madhouse versus something like Bilibili, because one has a higher notoriety in general for its animes, like they're gonna get a lot higher budget for their episodes. Meanwhile Bilibili, even though they can make something really good, they're gonna get a low budget because their animes aren't as like super relevant or as popular.
Yeah.
So that's the point of his argument, which isn't like anything too crazy. That's typically how it goes. Of course, something that's like really popular is gonna get a lot more money.
Could it just be inflation or?
Well, it's a mixture of things. It could be inflation, but at the same time, he's kind of right. Like usually, like if you have a gold mine, right? Let's say you have a racehorse. You have two racehorses. One is
Oh man, Musume style.
Okay, let's say you got two Umamuses. You got Oguri and you got Oguri's like the only one I know.
Okay.
But like yeah, you have two
Okay.
horses, right?
Yeah.
They both perform pretty well, but one is beloved by the actual fans, like the actual people voting on. You see a higher trajectory of people voting on them because one is much more pretty or much more like like design like let's say it's sexy. Uruma Musa, right? One is cuter, one is more preppy. Like she shows boats a bit to the fans. They eat it up. The other one's just kind of more like passionate what it does, so it's more focused, but it's not in the limelight as much, right?
Yeah.
Which one are you going to kind of like present on your banners, on your advertisement? Which one are you going to showcase more to the people?
What you said.
Exactly, the one that basically the people love. You're going to use that one for your marketing. You're going to use that one for like your advertisements and all that stuff. And the other one's going to be kind of by the wayside because people just aren't as interested as the other one because that's just how it goes. So you're going to put a lot more stock and money into this one to gain you more money back. It's the same way as a product, right? You got two chocolate bars. You got a Hershey's bar, and you got a Mr. Good bar. Now people like a Mr. Good bar, but Mr. Good bar isn't as loved.
I like a Mr. Good bar too.
But that's what I'm saying. Mr. Good bar is liked, but it's not as people typically depict Mr. Good bar as like cheap Halloween candy you get on Halloween and Easter and shit. They're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'll eat this now. It's fine. I don't mind it. But if you give them like a Snickers or something, they're like, oh, I just got a fucking Snickers.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Why.
So as the article states, It Media's Aishiro Matsudo interviewed Nano Hashumo, CEO of the anime production company Arch and president of Studio Graphene. He shared that developments of the anime industries have led to TV production costs rising in recent years to as much as 3 million yen per episode. That's 1.9 million or 4 million yen per movie, 25 million in English. So they're so that's 300 million yen per episode, depending on like the actual series. Hishiro makes the argument by dividing anime studios into ecosystems and tiers based on which types of companies approve budgets as well as studios' capabilities. These ecosystems have correspond revenue streams, and streams earn income from, as well as budget ranges of studios can be calculated to anime. The tiers depend on the brand power and diversified income streams. So brand power does not brand recognize merit, like I was saying, basically like, things people recognize. Demon Slayer, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, all these are brand recognizable animes that people easily look like, even if you're not like really familiar with anime, like you're just like a normal person, you're like, hey, I know that blonde-haired kid. Yeah. You look at it, it's like, I know that blonde-haired kid. I've seen him around. I'm like, brand recognition. Even some random like jerk off in the street can actually look at your character and know who you are. Diversified income streams do not just make money, but being commissioned to complete an anime and also receive over income, such as copyright income and produces community participation. Meaning the more people who actually interact with the actual product, meaning like commissions, merchandising, marketing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he's basically just making the case, the fact that like, because there's been a huge swing lately in Japan has made a huge swing in making anime one of its main exports because they're seeing a huge amount of like growth within the industry of anime. More and more people are watching.
Manga too.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. The actual, when I say anime, I'm encompassing Japanese culture surrounding it. That means manga. That means the figures. That means the games. That means the actual animation, DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, all that stuff. So they've been pivoting Japan has been pivoting their focus on, instead of just tourism and like their sites and like their food and everything, their culture is now surrounding more so the idea of what they're marketing is anime. Japan is anime, so they're trying to bring more people into their actual realm of purchasing power through that.
Just don't picture Japan as this so-called anime land because it's
right. It's not an anime land, but that's what they're pivoting towards. The idea of like selling themselves as we are the anime, like we are the anime country. Come enjoy our stuff that involve like your favorite characters from like
I'm not sure why, because it's like obvious. It's like your country of origin. It's like saying.
Well, yeah, but like
America from cheeseburgers, where of course.
Well, the reason why is because lately we've been seeing more and more studios be built up that have been like either mimicking or designing their characters to fit kind of like that anime aesthetic. India has been pushing more for like actual their own creations and even their video games to mimic that of anime. China, of course, has been getting into the industry because China gets into every industry that becomes popular and big.
Especially Hoyoverse with Genshin, Zenless,
Korea
and
with their
whatnot.
manhwas, like their manhwas are heavily inspired by Japanese mangas.
Yes,
And and
and then you have studios in Korea who have made games like Nikke and Blue Archive.
exactly. And then China, of course, like we talked about recently, when one of their games went down, their game was heavily inspired by games like Blue Protocol, Genshin Impact, and Nikkei. Like these people are looking at anime and vice versa, the actual culture surrounding it, and implementing
Yeah,
it into
and
their own studios.
you can't forget you can't forget the Me side, which was developed in Russia.
Exactly. Like again, that's there you go. You kind of like showcasing my proof. Even places here in the West, like France, Canada, Great Britain, and even here in America, we are taking the concepts of what anime has been making from their designs, from their stories, from their actual overall like characters, and we're implementing into our
Doki
own
Doki Literature
stories.
Club,
Huh?
and you have Doki Doki Literature Club as well that was developed here in the States.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So basically, what he's saying is because they've been seeing a huge pivot in Japan, they've been putting more and more money into it. But because of this reason, they are now like segregating the actual studios into a tier system. They're looking at what
Yeah,
studios produce a higher income of like of like again like shows like Demon Slayer. The quality of the actual series isn't always the actual argumented factor, meaning like the story, the characters, the writing. It's gonna be whether or not they can market it to an actual higher basis of people, and if those people will engage in not only watching the series but then also purchasing the merchandise that comes along with it.
exactly.
So like again, you, you can look at me and you. I don't know about how you feel about it. I don't like Demon Slayer. I think Demon Slayer is a shit show. I think it's got beautiful
Yeah,
animation, and I think it's got like great
it does
like
get beautiful. So
I,
yeah, I could understand your perspective why you don't like it.
the show's stupid. Like the actual like action, the actual everything about oh hi dumpster, welcome, welcome, welcome. But yeah, like the actual like series story doesn't make any sense. There's so many problems, especially like the uh the series where I really started showing like why Demon Slayer just kind of fails as an actual series was the Red Light District arc, which was the second season of Demon Slayer. Like there was so many problems with that one season that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I can understand your perspective, but hey, at least we can both agree that Attack on Titan is not really good.
Well, no. Again, I will be the first one to argue that Attack on Titan, like its actual, like when it comes to its actual plot, its world building, and its lore, there are so many problems with it. But I can always understand why people like these shows: the spectacle,
Yes.
the themes, sometimes even the
Yeah,
humor. Like these
like
things.
I may not be as big as into One Piece as you are, but I can understand why you like it. You
Well, no.
know?
Again, I like one. I grew up with One Piece, so I have this very like kind of bias towards it. But I can agree there are problems with One Piece in its writing. I just think Oda, when it comes to his actual writing, he excels more so in his actual writing of his characters and the writing of his world. Like he actually does really good world building and good character writing. The problem is when you go into the actual arcs, the in between part, the actual stories and plot, that's when there's issues that arise.
It's just adding. One of them is just adding like unnecessary things that
It's not even
have
just
no
adding
meaning.
unnecessary thing. It's about like trying to actually find a connecting through line with all these series. And the problem I have with most shonen is shonen has an issue when it
Yeah,
comes to introducing power scaling. And what I
yeah.
mean specifically is
And there's a reason why I don't really have the best reputation or view on shonen
well,
compared to
not
other
many
anime
people do
genres.
that are like heavily into anime. Eventually, like people who are into anime, like they watch all values of life of anime. Usually, shonen
Mhm.
is the one they usually look at. Is like, hey, how come this one specifically has an issue? And I always say it's because shonen usually has struggles when it. Shonen struggles on several different like metrics when it comes to the actual writing, but specifically it's
Yeah,
like the actual metric when it comes to the again I go
it's
back to the
because
power scaling.
they
Like
focus a lot on the action in a sense
not
that
just the
I don't think
action,
it
like
does.
because like for
Yeah, I
instance like
know that. I know that's not just in the action, but the action is like one of them.
well like for instance this is what I mean by that. My friend really likes Bleach. I used to really like Bleach too in the beginning, in the very, very beginning. And the reason why I stopped really liking Bleach is because the way Date Kubo was actually writing his series surrounding it. Ichigo is literally one of the most. He is the God-given like messiah of that world. Like, so you have of course the Shinigami, the Soul Reapers, right? You have the Arankai and the Hollows of like Hueco Mundo and stuff. Then you have the Quincy's, the humans who have high spiritual pressures, and then you also have these things called Forebringers, other humans with other specials, but they're not connected to Quincy's. And then you have these Bounce, these other guys who are humans who can summon spiritual creatures, but they have no connection to the Quincy's, right? Yeah, you start introducing all these different factions that have no real connections between each other, even though they do kind of like slightly the same thing. And then you find out Ichigo is essentially the embodiment of all of them. Like his dad is a Shinigami that somehow got a body of a real human. A Shinigami, by the way, is a dead person that soul has like gone to the soul society and like trained to become a slayer.
What it is, hon. It's literally. I mean, I watched Death Note, so.
Right. But what I'm saying is the fact that he somehow got an actual human body again, went into the real world, had sex with a Quincy human. She then gave birth to a human baby, who then had Quincy powers inside of him, along with Shinigami powers, and because his mother was attacked by a Hollow, and he got some of her blood in it, he somehow got Hollow powers.
Yeah.
There's so many things wrong with what I just said, it is insane.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by, like, scaling of powers in most shonen, is like they think, oh, I know what I can do.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a schoolyard like debate with someone and you're like, yeah, my character can kick your ass. No, my character can. It's a South Park joke.
It's like death. It's like the whole like toxic death battle. Like who would win this and that.
Not even that, but like, did you ever see South Park? Fun Times with Weapons.
No, I don't think I remember watching that.
So it's an episode where South Park, literally the kids buy weapons from a flea market, right? And like they're playing with them, and then they get into a fight with Butters, an imaginary fight, right? And like Stan throws a power like attack at him. And he's like, "Hey kid, that knocks you down." He's like, "Nuh-uh." He's like, "Yeah, hi, I hit you." He's like, "Nuh-uh, because my cloak is made of a special titanium alloy that shields me from heat." And it's that kind of mentality where you're like, you just create bullshit out of nothing, to then basically say, oh, my character can do this now.
Like, to be honest, Spy Family is like one of those anime that doesn't do that at all.
No, there's quite a bit of animes that don't do that. Like, for instance, Hunter x Hunter, I think, excels at, like, it's a shonen, technically, and I think Hunter x Hunter excels at, like, not having the actual characters have, like, that kind of, like, randomness to their actual actions. Like there's a level of actual these characters having to employ like critical thought in when actually combating other people. Like I think the Chimera art is a great example of this the most, where like you see the characters that we've kind of like been introduced to for like since the beginning have actually a huge amount of struggle against these like new creatures, and they have to actually think outside the box to win. Like I think the best thing is, for me, is you don't even really see the heroes technically win against some of the chimeras. They just kind of have to like leave because they're invading the kingdom, and their whole goal is to protect the king, because their whole point is that the actual hunters are trying to kill the king. And so sometimes these guys have to actually flee to try to win a fight. Yeah. There's a whole lot. I love the Chimera arc. I don't love everything about Hunter x Hunter, but I think the Chimera arc is probably my favorite arcs I've seen written, aside from the Dark Tournament and Yu Yu Hakusho, which I believe Yu Yu Hakusho is another shonen, technically.
I mean, then again, shonen is not really up my alley.
Like I said, I grew up with a lot of these shonen, and I can appreciate with what's written there.
I think everybody who got into anime, who became weebs through anime, started off with shonen, you know?
Well, yeah, because like I want to say most of us grew up with watching Cartoon Network, which aired most of these animes. Like I think every anime I just mentioned, Cartoon Network aired on them at one point in time. I think Hunter x Hunter just started airing on Toonami like about 3 years ago, but it still airs it on there.
I mean, I did grow up watching Dragon Ball Z, but I didn't even think as much. I just thought it was just a.
Oh, I thought Dragon Ball Z was the shit, dude. That shit was like amazing to me as a kid. I watched it like
yeah,
that was.
It definitely, it definitely was. Every time my cousin would come into my house, they would always go onto the channel where Dragon Ball.
No, say my brothers always thought anime was gay, except for Dragon Ball Z. We would come home from after school. My older brother would already have that shit ready on the Cartoon Network channel, and we just we throw our book backs against like the wall, and we just sit down and we'd watch the newest episode of Dragon Ball Z. And I love Toonami because Toonami would always show you the previous episode you just watched yesterday, the last new episode, and then it'd show you the new episode. And we just spent our time. I remember watching the Frieza saga, the Cell saga, and then the Buu saga with my brothers. It was such an enjoyable time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Dragon Ball is like one of those anime that try getting back so much, but I just feel like it just doesn't really hold up for me as much.
Oh
as
no, there's definitely
to.
problems. You can go back and look at Dragon Ball Z and maybe even Dragon Ball, and there's like look at tons of issues. But the fact of the matter is, if it wasn't for those series coming to America as they did, we probably wouldn't be watching anime as much as we are now.
Yeah.
Like okay, but that's kind of like that topic. I just wanted to go over it because like the previous talk we talked about specifically was the fact that Netflix is fucking stable run, and then now we're getting this with this guy talking about like the production cost of anime getting higher.
Yeah.
But going on to the next one, we're coming back because there it goes. Crunchyroll faces second class action lawsuit this month. Again, this month they just got hit with one not but 2 weeks ago, and now they're getting hit again because of the data breach.
Another L.
Another L. Chalk it up, another L, baby.
Massive.
Go away.
Massive L.
I mean, it really depends if something actually comes from it. The problem with this one is, right? So the other one was a class action lawsuit coming from another company. This one specifically coming, I'll go into it. Crunchyroll was hit with a class action lawsuit following the alleged major data breach this month via the third-party vendor, which Crunchyroll says it was investigating. The plaintiff, based on the Washington State, is suing the Northern District of California, makes various allegations. The plaintiff alleges that Crunchyroll failed to properly safeguard consumers' personally identifying information, the PEL, by sharing data with the companies they use to substand data security. I'm so sorry, I'm like losing my voice here. They added that the case harmed through the stress test and anxiety. The material risk exposed to PEI will be used to commit fraud and other acts. The purpose of the class is affected the customs is all individuals in the United States of America whose PEI or financial information was exposed, unauthorized third parties as a result of data breach experienced the defendant of March 12th. So basically he's describing that because of the data breach can potentially go out to be picked up and be taken by people online. You know, anyone who finds themselves having their information taken without their knowledge, you know, without all that stuff, can potentially be attributed to having now growing trauma, struggle, all this stuff. Like they're making that kind of argument.
I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not that, given that it's happening in California of all places.
Well, you got to remember, Crunchyroll has, I believe, the actual studio has 3 branch locations. I think California, Texas, and one other one. Let's see. Where?
Probably New York.
No, I actually don't think it's New York. Crunchy.
Really? I thought it was New York.
Offices. So Crunchyroll headquarters in San Francisco, California, with multiple offices across the United States internationally. So they have... Oh, no, you're right. New York City, Los Angeles, Dallas, Des Moines, and Germantown, MD, in Washington Boulevard. So they have a total of like their main branches in California, and then they have 5 separate offices all around New York, all around the country, but in various like larger city locations.
Yeah.
Indiana, wasn't expecting that. But yeah, so what the fuck? Go away. So tell us that they're reporting that the third-party vendor has suffered a breach confirmed around March 12th, that a security incident had taken place. Media outlet Bleeping Computer, what the fuck? Also reported that the hackers claimed in January have also severely breached the Tesla. Tesla has said that the information affected the customers in March 2026 breach. Crunchyroll has yet to confirm the breach. Released a statement in... Crunchyroll which has yet to confirm the breach, released a statement on March 23rd saying that it is aware of its claims and the issues are relatively quiet. Second update on March 24th. This is a statement from Crunchyroll saying, our investigation is ongoing. We are continuing to work by leading cybersecurity experts. At the time, we believe that the information is primarily limited to customer services ticket data following the incident with the third-party vendor. We are not identifying evidence of ongoing access to the systems in relation to these claims. We are continuing to monitor the situation closely. So, typical corporate speak. There's not really anything there to gravitate towards. Yeah, well, there's not. That's typically what they have. Their lawyers are probably telling them, "Hey, just give this general statement because you guys are getting a little bit hot on. Like, you guys are like slightly above the boiling pot of water. So just give this statement. Some people might still be upset, but you're gonna have to take the heat for now, and then you're gonna come back. Okay? That's probably what they told them. The problem is that people are not letting up, so they probably either A, have to go completely dark on this, or B, a statement will have to be made with more evidence going forward. So Crunchyroll's statement is arguably vague, short, confirming the actual data alleged is stolen in a PI and Crunchyroll's customers. The statement appears to say that if it is real, the data would largely be limited to customer security ticket data, meaning the fact that like it's whenever someone puts in something for a claim or something that says like, "Hey, my Crunchyroll isn't working." Why? They're basically reporting, right? Crunchyroll has not responded to the queries about when they became aware of the alleged breach, if there was a PEI or the data outside was permanently limited to customer's service ticket. May have been stolen. Again, Tesla has around March 12th, and information affected the customers. It is worth nothing. The plaintiff allegations are largely unconfirmed. The lawsuit claims that the Crunchyroll is aware of the risk for months, while Crunchyroll has only shared this week that they are aware of the claims. It is unclear whether or not the allegations of months stems. But the reports of January said that the Tesla breach. Basically, what they're saying here is they're saying, well, we've only been seeing this happening for the past like 2 or 3 weeks. The claim is being said, no, this has been going for months since January. So basically, you have two different words. The plaintiff is saying this data breach happened months ago. You've just been sweeping on the rug, so this way it doesn't look bad. And Crunchyroll is saying no, we've been doing this investigation. We only found out about this recently, and now we're doing an ongoing investigation to figure out what happened. So you have to that now at this point in time, the lawsuit is gonna have to like actually go into deeper details and figure out when was the actual like data breach, but that's gonna take a while. That's not something so easy you can kind of figure out of like a time and date.
Because the whole court processes, it definitely.
Well, not just court process. I may not be super familiar with how it works, but like you also have to you have to also like be able to see like there has to be a kind of like footprint to follow with this. So you have to actually find a way. You have to like pinpoint where you started seeing people's information being taken from, and you have to find a way to actually track that back days, weeks, months, when it started. And I don't know if you really can right now.
I mean, yeah, it's usually the same stuff we were talking about last week.
Yeah, well, the difference is the fact that this is a new
lot
claim.
More worse, I would say.
So this is where it really gets big, right? So this is a whole new lawsuit, and the plaintiff is saying this. Among many things, the lawsuit seeks to establish facts to secure damages, including actual damages and treble damages upon $25,000 per class member, meaning anyone that actually has the higher premium service that was affected by this data breach is basically should be like reimbursed $25,000. And that's not including attorney's fees, injury relief, and, as they say here, the court order forcing Crunchyroll to import proper data security and training programs. Meaning that this lawsuit is saying, you're going to pay us back our money, you're going to pay our lawyers, you're going to pay everyone that actually had a data breach that can confirm that, you're going to pay them an outright settlement of $25,000, and then we want you to actually promise us that you're going to increase the security on your actual website, in your whole system, your whole service, and you're going to actually hire more people to actually take care of that service. So that's what the lawsuit aims to do. The problem is, I don't know how... At this point in time, I don't know if you can actually prove damages until we see...
gonna have to see how much the damage was done, basically.
Well, not just how much the damage is done, if any damage is done, because right now there's claims that people's data has been taken, but it's hard to actually figure out if there's any been damage to a person's like actual livelihood until those damages kind of like basically you have to figure out like, oh, someone stole my credit card. You can just simply call your card provider, say, hey, my card's missing, and they clip it up, right? But you would still have that period of process where you're worried before you call them. Is like, are they going to use my card? What's going to happen with the card? Anything like that. And then you kind of find out like nothing ever came from it, but you still take the moment to replace your card, right? In this situation, you can't really do that. We don't know if anyone has actually taken this data and actually done anything with it. Now, I'm always going to put my side on the safer bet. Like, I'm always going to put more on the side of safety and say, yeah, someone stole my information. I want to then change my password, and I want to do everything in my power to make sure my information is safe. So I think putting it in the lawsuit, the fact that like Crunchyroll should be putting more money into increasing security in their service is really good. The problem is because this lawsuit is you have to then prove damages, and I don't know how easy that's going to be in a case like this.
Yeah, I can definitely see.
It'd be interesting, and I would like Crunchyroll to actually show us.
I would definitely would like to have Legal Mindset cover this,
I wonder if he actually is covering this.
Actually, you're right.
Let me look very
wonder
quick.
if
I'm
he
actually
is.
curious now. I'm actually subscribed to him, so I can just look on his channel. Because I haven't actually gotten a lot of notifications by Legal Mindset lately. Here it is. Let's see. Videos.
I don't know. I feel like he's covering a lot of stuff, but
Yeah, he covered the Afro Man. You heard about that, right?
dude, that literally felt like Idiocracy.
Yeah, it's fucking funny, dude. When I heard Afro Man, I was like, wait, the guy who's saying like I got because I got high is like, yeah. No, it looks like he's mostly
him wearing that like American attire.
It's fucking.
Literally feel like
He
it
fucking
literally
wears
felt
it.
like
Look at him though.
Idiocracy,
He
dude.
looks so dapper. Man looks awesome. I love him.
It definitely looked like Idiocracy, to be honest.
I used to fucking like sing that song all the time when I was a kid. But yeah, no, it looks like he actually, unless he just hasn't said it in any of these segments, he's mostly been covering stuff with like Johnny Somali again and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Somali is really into some really big hot shit.
I mean, last thing I heard with Johnny Somali is the fact that like his mom was begging the courts to be lenient on him. I'm like, your son's retarded. I'm sorry, man. Like this.
Yeah.
If you
exactly.
really care, if you cared that much, why did you?
You're like literally your son just fucked around and find out.
Not even just that, but like if you cared that much to beg the court to show leniency, why won't you like? I don't like being mean too much to mothers, but like, why won't you a parent and trying to get his ass back home?
Yeah.
Like you knew he was doing this stupid shit for years.
Yes, especially in Japan.
Hello, Robert Young. Hi. We're just talking about Crunchyroll and it's failure after failure after failure. But we were just seeing if someone we kind of watched, if they covered it. But yeah, it looks like he did it. But yeah, so that's kind of like, oh my god, go away, you stupid advertisements. But that's kind of everything that's been going on with JoJo. Sadly, we already covered the JoJo part of the actual conversation. If you want to actually go back to watch that segment, I think it was about like 25 minutes we took on to talk about Netflix and how the fuck they are just so incompetent to only put out one episode.
Yeah.
Again, just to kind of restate it, just because we're getting some new payments, just to kind of restate it, it makes absolutely no sense for Netflix, who have literally built their platform. They're the ones that became the big baller of streaming. Like no one else had really done it prior to them, and they basically built that shit up, right? How did they just out of nowhere fuck up to this degree, to where they're like, hey, you made one episode, okay, cool, we're gonna put out that one episode, and then we want you like what was the oversight, man? It just makes no sense. JoJo's best, thanks, man. Oh, yeah, no, JoJo's great. I just thought it doesn't make any sense that Netflix fucked up this hard. I gotta wonder, like, what was the thought process? Like I said, as I was telling Brutal, like it's got to be one or two things. It's literally they just fucked up because they're so incredibly retarded, or they did it maliciously because they like saw the writing on the walls that they weren't able to finish up the production in time. So they're like, let's just release the first episode and then be done with it.
I said it was like most likely the first option.
It could have been. It could have been even a mixture of the two. Like people say like no, don't attribute malice, which you can just easily attribute to be stupidity. Which honestly, more than 9 times out of 10, it's because someone's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're done with the Crunchyroll one. We're moving on to the next one, which I'm trying to remember what I put in this next segment. I got it here on my X account what it was, but I'm trying to remember what it actually was.
Oro. Was it PayPal, wasn't it?
Oh no, it was leading to PayPal. So I didn't actually. There wasn't an article written about this, so it's just people talking about it. So essentially, we have my fucking god, Subscribestar. As GBS mentioned here, Subscribestar has managed to not bend the knee in the way of finding a loophole in the Visa and MasterCard, which essentially is, we know for a while, Visa and MasterCard has been pushing heavily to basically force compliances with them not basically if you had anything lewd, not safe for work, anything they deemed to be too adult, they wanted you to remove or just kind of not sell any products that involve that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of this, they were heavily basically telling Japanese companies, hey, you need to remove these content. I actually think I have something here. I was going to talk about this later, but here we go. So credit card companies continue to sensitive Japanese artists. The credit card companies are continuing to what appears to be a coordinated effort to censor Japanese artists. The most recent targets the Ken Akuri's Manga Library Z. And if you don't remember, at the time, Manga Library Z was one of the largest publications where people could actually watch doujinshi and stuff on their website. And some doujinshi is gonna be kind of explicit. It's gonna be kind of. I'm trying to kind of not say it outright, but it's gonna be kind of shameful with a lot of yaoi, a lot of yori, a lot of
because we're trying not to get this video age restricted.
Well, I actually don't know what YouTube cares and what doesn't care about, right? What you say, right?
Yeah, and it's really hard to tell, so we got to be careful as much.
So a website which hosted old and outprinted manga, a method of archival and ad revenue sharing with artists, a well-known as Melon Books and Japanese book retailer. Manga Library Z is being shut down entirely, unlike most websites targeted by the payment processors. And this time, it's Japanese credit card companies join in, according to Akamatsuta. And essentially, is the reason why they had to shut down is, again, they were selling old paperback books of outdated or even like canceled mangas and doujinshi that no longer existed that you can only get at their actual website and their stores. And because of that, they can't really just get rid of that stock because they were kind of known for that.
Exactly.
So this was just one instance that basically Visa and MasterCard were like throwing their dick around, saying hey, stop this right now, or we're taking away your ability to actually use us as a form of payment. And what they tried doing here, they even say in this article, they tried using something called BitCash, which is essentially trying to use a form of cryptocurrency to use as payment. The problem is, as many people keep telling when it comes to cryptocurrency, it is really hard to establish your company using that form of currency to purchase anything because there is almost no way to really. I'm kind of familiar with cryptocurrency, but it's really hard to explain how it works here. One of the best examples I can give is the petrodollar, which is what America uses as a form of currency because we use our own dollar. That is what America sells these days. We sell oil. We sell oil, and people basically buy our money to then use it to buy our oil because that's how it works. So that is why the American dollar is considered the staple money for most other countries. They use their currency to purchase our currency to purchase our oil. That's how it kind of works. Cryptocurrency works in a similar fashion, but it has no actual government status or larger entity to really control it. The problem here is though, because it's so new and because it has no real strong integer of how much it's valued at, you can't really use one crypto coin, right, to then purchase. I want to use this crypto coin to purchase this manga. What is the change going to be back? It's going to be whatever the currency is you're in that country. And if there is a hard way to process that, or
but I'm not sure if you can always rely on cryptocurrency too, because you can easily fall into scams.
Oh, you can, and most crypto coins are scams. There's only a few that actually have any actual
Because
worth.
because I remember watching this because I remember watching this one body cam footage of this old lady getting scammed, and then the police were like had to show up early because they were gonna like take a shitload of money from like the Bitcoin machine. They're
Yeah.
saying that they were claiming that they were like Chase Bank when they don't take.
No, yeah, it's
Bitcoin.
older folks are always going to be the ones that are targeted the most when it comes to scams like that because it's
Yes.
harder for them to get with like what's new, what's happening, and they probably
Yeah,
hear it in passing.
or like there's something that sounds like that's genuinely like legit
Yeah. So
or too good to be true.
so Manga Libraries is essentially shut down. They're no longer a company that is active. So the reason why this is important is because many of these payment processors that basically you basically like PayPal and everything started putting in their rules that if you didn't abide by these new sections, then they weren't going. They were basically allowing themselves to cancel any orders you had. So if you were using PayPal to purchase, for instance, not safe for work or something they deemed to be not safe for work, they had the ability to basically put a stop on the payment altogether.
Yeah.
So Subscribe Score was heading in that direction too. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because right here, my dystopian robot girlfriend spoke breaking. Subscribe Score has changed its TOS, marking them as restrictive as Patreon. Things cannot be a subscribe star now officially in, meaning incest, rape, some types of furries, and gore. So basically, Subscribe Score put in a notation for the TOS saying complaints of the platform rights. Subscribe Score operates in the complaincy of the large regulations of payment processors acquiring banks. As a result, some restrictions of the page may be stricter than general legal stance. If a creator's content does not align with the policy, Subscribestar reverses its right to remove or relocate the creator's profile to the partner platform that better supports the type of content that is proceeded. Such actions may occur with or without the prior notice and may be taken in order to preserve the creator's income stream, prevent the creator's account from being terminated, and maintain compliance. Basically, they're saying we can go in and we can put you where we think you should go. So if there's a labeled tag saying like, "Oh, this is for all the perverts," we're gonna move your account over to pervert. I'm using that as kind of an extreme, but you kind of get the idea what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they did.
I'm basically just trying to like. I wouldn't want to like. I'm trying to like say the whole thing, but it's like try to say as much as I can with this topic. But it's too risque for me to just.
I think it's fine. I think you can just try your best to word it.
I'll try. But if not, you'll probably just see me through my tweets and what I think.
Okay.
But
Are you gonna say it?
let me say it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. So Subscribe did that a few weeks ago. And then recently, because of a lot of the bigger things that have been going on in the background with payment processors, I guess they went back on it. And now Subscribestar is introducing wallet payments of Subscribestar. In addition to the current payment systems like Visa and Master and credit card and all that stuff, in addition to the current payment systems, we are launching a new wallet system designed to improve how creators receive support and how payments will work across the platform. Meaning, they created a whole new payment system specifically so this way creators don't have to use or abide by things like Apple Pay, PayPal, Google Play Store, all that stuff, and by their rules, and just use this as a form to purchase things. Now, there is a slight problem with this for me. I don't know, because in short, couldn't Google Play and Apple Play just be like, okay, then we just will stop any actual person using their funds through you if that's their means. But the problem is they then would have to prove that's what they're doing. Like there's
Yeah.
a counter to the counter essentially.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of processing going.
huh?
It's like a lot. Like there's a lot of processing going.
Yeah,
Essentially.
but that's what I'm saying. Like it's really nice and it's neat that Subscribe Scar did that. Because essentially what they were trying to do is that they were trying to like follow the rules, but I guess in the background they were trying to get this implemented in time to like help out creators specifically. So
Yeah, because
good on them.
I do know quite a decent amount of Twitter artists that use Subscribe Star. You know.
Subscribe Star has slowly taken over as the main platform for many of like online
Yeah,
creators.
and I'm pretty sure it's expected to change because people use like Ko Ko-Fi or what is it called?
Yeah, Ko-Fi. Back in the day, it used to be
Coco.
PayPal and it used to be Patreon. But then after like all
Yeah.
the shit that went on with Patreon and what they were doing with creators, people started moving to Subscribe Star, and it's been ever changing. There's always kind of a new
I feel
system
like
that comes along.
Subscribe Star is like pretty much the Rumble of all of this stuff. To
Ooh,
be
no,
honest.
I'd say Subscribe Star is a lot more noticeable than that. Like Rumble has become kind of like the super staunch right of like anything. Like you can't. I actually like Rumble, and I like a lot of creators that went on there. The problem is because so many right creators that got banned off of YouTube and at the time X and all those other platforms moved to Rumble, and Rumble saw a huge increase in their actual like viewers to that kind of content. Rumble kind of pivoted. It's like kind of opposite Twitch, where Twitch has a lot more like pivoting towards more lefty creators. Rumble has an extreme pivot towards more right creators. So you're gonna see all those people on the front page. You're gonna see more of those people recommended to you, and you're not really gonna see like guys who just there. I want to play Mario 64. Like
Yeah.
it's much harder to like create content that is just very neutral, very like apolitical and get like noticed on Rumble versus someone who's
Yeah.
going to talk about like the latest like things happening around and all that stuff.
And also because YouTube is like just too it's too much of the go-to thing. The
Well,
Rumble because
YouTube
not many
is
people.
still the go-to entertainment for online content. I don't think that's ever really gonna change unless like
Yeah.
YouTube like super pivots to like heavy censorship and like
Yeah,
scan
which
Face
is
ID.
unlikely too. I know YouTube has like its flaws with its censorship and
No,
stuff like that. But
most of these streaming platforms are gonna have their flaws. The problem is you kind of have to take the best of the worst to really move
yeah,
along as a content creator. And again, I
yeah,
like Rumble. The problem is I've tried putting content on Rumble, and even though I don't get like a huge, massive amount of numbers, I still get more people watching me on YouTube than I would ever on Rumble. Rumble, I posted the same video of a content I posted on here, and that one video on here talking about anime got around like 200 to 300 views. On Rumble, it didn't even get one.
yeah,
And that's because people aren't looking for anime content on Rumble. They're looking for content surrounding, well, politics, government, and like all those other things involving that kind of aspect of politics.
yeah. That not usually our interest.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna go on Rumble, just so you know, like if you're gonna use it, you're gonna use it because you like Rumble. But like if you do use Rumble, just know that like it's gonna be a lot harder. It's gonna be a heavier. Like for instance, you heard that Tectone like left Twitch and YouTube, right?
Yes.
So you know how you like had like I would say averagely Tectone pulled in like 50,000 to 60,000 total views and maybe like around 3,000 to 2,000 like views on a stream, right? He moved to Rumble as exclusively to Rumble, and his first stream there only got like 1,000 views.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're not even with a huge fan base like Tectone has a huge following, it's people aren't gonna pivot towards it just because you're on there. People are gonna watch you maybe, but the problem is you have to then compete. Now you are competing with other people from other platforms, and most people, sad to say, watch their stuff on Twitch and on YouTube. Mostly on YouTube, but Twitch is still like the big dog of streaming. Kick is getting up there, but like it's
Yeah.
not like super up there. People still
So
look
yeah,
at
I
Kick.
remember with how Ninja tried to like
Yeah,
he like left Twitch because they had like this streaming platform called
Mixer. It was Microsoft's streaming platform. That was actually the first place I ever streamed on was Mixer. I actually had a pretty
And,
decent like following. The problem was Mixer was instead of Microsoft being smart
yeah,
and investing in smaller but kind of niche content creators that people liked on Mixer that had like around maybe 100 to 200 views per stream, They decided to pull what Microsoft does: throw their money around and get exclusivity from other creators from different platforms. But like,
Yeah.
it's
But it definitely didn't take long for it to shut down.
because literally they were losing money on keeping the servers alive for smaller content creators who only poured in like so many watchers. But again, the problem was if they had actually taken the time to
They just
invest.
brought in like big name creators.
Well, that's what they tried doing, but that's what I'm saying. That's what failed them because they thought if they just threw their money around, bringing people in like Ninja to their platform, that people would watch more creators. But like, no, people just went to Mixer then to watch Ninja for the 2-3 hours he streamed, and then they stopped. As soon as he stopped, they went away. They didn't stay for other creators.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Their brilliant plan failed because what they should have done is invested in the creators they already had on the platform that pulled in those 200 or 300 viewers. If they would have given them more of a resource and more of an actual chance, I'm pretty sure those people could have become more like Ninja later on. But they didn't do that because, again, Microsoft sucks at conducting business.
Oh yeah, they do. I mean, trust me, they literally just killed off Skype and Internet Explorer.
Oh, I mean, Skype is used primarily by like office workers, but yeah, Skype is not what it used to be. But like, fucking
Dude, like seriously, 10 years ago, people were like using Skype, but when Discord hit the scene, people just completely abandoned it.
Yeah.
And then they try to make Skype like stay relevant, but nope.
yeah. But no, anyways, kind of ending this off like good on Subscribe Star. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because to pivot over to this, where is it? Ah, here it is. So
Yes, the ongoing issue that's been going around for a while now.
So, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe shall no longer enforce censorship, according to the FTC chairman, Andrew N. Ferguson. So this is kind of like a big piece of news. Oh, this actually got a community note. The warning of the letter sent by the FTC
Of course,
is simply
community
warning.
note because of course we gotta get community notes.
I mean, I like community notes. My problem is that it's too easy to like
Yeah,
garner support to whatever side you want, so long as there's
Yeah.
enough people.
but sometimes
backing-
community notes can be really funny if somebody takes like a massive L or that about something that's false and shit, and then the community notes is like
Yeah.
there to like literally debunk that. It's
Yeah, but no. So essentially, like this statement was made by the FTC, and this letter was essentially sent out to payment processors like PayPal, Stripe, Visa, and Mastercard. It writes, the Federal Trade Commission Chairman Andrew N. Ferguson sent letters today to the four major financial infrastructures, platforms, and payment providers, reminding them that their obligations to their customers under the FTC Act. The letter issues that the CEO of PayPal, Stripe, Visa, and MasterCard raised concerns of publicly reported examples of financial services companies denying their customers access to services due to their political or religious views. Full participation in communication of the public life necessarily requires the law-abiding individuals can access and freely participate in our financial systems, the chairman Ferguson wrote. It is inconsistent with American values to deny law-abiding individuals the ability to run their legitimate businesses and feed their families because they're attracted into ire of a rogue American officials, overzealous activists, or more worryingly, a foreign government seeking to control the public discourse. He continued. That was why President Trump's August 7, 2025 executive order on debanking makes it clear that it is unacceptable for debank law-abiding citizens due to political advocacies, religious beliefs, or lawful business activities. This is the important one right here. Because so far they've been making an argument for political and religious ones. But the moment you enter law business activities, that is where people are actually interjecting the idea of anime and manga and everything.
Yeah.
Because under the guise of the law, nothing within the actual confines of those works is it against the law to support, to purchase, or to resell.
yeah. I mean, we are a free market country to begin with.
Well, not even just that, but like you have to remember, like one of the biggest reasons why payment processors have been putting such a kibosh on all that stuff is because in their argument, it is considered like not safe for work is considered like basically on almost the terms of pornography, and sometimes some of the kinks or fantasies in them, like incest, like gore or anything like that, is they think it's
or a scat.
yes, they think it's icky and that it's wrong, and they're being the ones to determine that they don't want their money to go towards that. The problem is,
And then you gotta keep in mind, especially in Japan, they always gotta have cater to every kink and fetish.
Well, it's not even
from
just
every-
well, yeah. I mean, like Japan's kind of freaky like that, but like it's specifically more so that the idea that the reason why this specific like addition was made, the lawful business activities, is because everything that Japan sells through manga, through anime, through figures, falls under a lawful business activities because there is nothing that they're doing that is unlawful or against our own laws themselves. So by payment processors basically coming in and say like we won't allow you to sell these things as long as you are stuff is already going against this very act itself.
Mhm.
The letters warn that the companies that any act and practices that deplatform of customers or deny them access to the financial products or services, again, specific wording there, can correlate to manga and Japanese culture, of facilities such as conduct of the companies that is inconsistent with their terms of service and customers' responsibility expectations. Many violate the FTC Act and could lead the FTC to investigate any potential enforcement actions. Meaning, if they don't rectify the situation because they keep denying people to purchase the things they want so long as it falls under the guise of the law, then the FCC will act and begin to put in investigation as to why this is happening from these payment processors.
It also doesn't have the fact that these dudes are just too noob on anime culture. And
Well,
otaku
it's
culture
not
in
even just
general.
noob. It's the fact that like anime has a stigma against it specifically because of like it's kind of more raunchy, slightly degenerate like things. So people immediately like it's like we went over last time with hentai with the article by New York Post.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention.
Right here, let me see if I can't find this. So this is actually I was gonna make a video about this, but I had passed the time. Uh,
And you got like too much scripts to do on other videos.
yeah, I'm trying to see if I can't find the original because he had a fucking comment that I was like really like baffled that he said this. It was so unbelievably terrible. Okay, I think this is it. Ah, okay, here. Let's see if I can't find the actual quote. Here it is. Okay, so this is specifically he was asked a question about like why is he purposely doing it's like during a Q&A session in this briefing, the company's president and representative, the director of City Kidney, was asked about why Visa is becoming unusable in sites selling adult content that is legal in Japan. In response, Kidney commented that while Visa's policy is to make legal and legitimate purchase available as much as possible, it is sometimes necessary to deny us to protect the brand. He goes on to say that these are complex decisions involving both global and local policies, and that it is important to maintain sincerity and integrity. And we will continue to do so, which suggests that the company does not intend to change its stance. It is not specific explanation provided as to why the global or local policies the Visa's decisions are, but being determined by. So he speaks about it, saying like they're doing this to protect the brand. What's even worse is I'm trying to look for it, but
That literally is the most weak response.
No. What's even worse is I'm trying to find it, but like he had a comment that he made like before that one, where I think it was either before or after one, that the comment was like basically him saying like would like to basically get what we want. We are forcing this onto their company, to their society, to help change the culture. And I'm like, pause. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So essentially, he's saying one of the reasons why he's doing this is to force Japan to change its ways. He's like that like mean neighbor that's like next door. He's like, oh, that Dennis the Menace. How dare he do that to my lawn? I know what I'll do. I'll keep him inside the house in the garage and I'll lock him away forever. So this way he'll change his ways or some stupid shit like that. Like that's the guy's actual thought process. Is he's doing this specifically to force Japan to change? Basically, if they don't adhere to our rules, they can't use our stuff, and that it's going to hurt their economy. So he's forcing them to act.
Yeah.
No, this guy sucks. And
Yeah,
which is why I'm
indeed.
like all for this. I'm for this entirely. Like I'm hoping that we can actually like we don't know if anything's gonna come from this. Could just be all smoke and mirrors, but I'm really hoping something does come from this because we do need payment processors to start adhering to some sort of regulation because they are acting like they're the fucking big dogs of the champ. We need to also add this to the actual banking system because like it's not just the payment processors that we have to actually look at. It's also the banks that adhere to the payment processors, like Bank of America, like Wells Fargo, and all those other big companies.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to talk about specifically with the FTC stuff and like why this is so important is because right here, credit card censorship in anime, manga, games promotes Japanese politicians to hold meeting with card brands and others. So this happened back in August 2026. No, August 26th in 2025. This is Toru Yamato, anime fan and member of the House of Kogurus, the Liberal Democratic Party, revealed that the internal meeting of the Visual Industry Strategy Proportion Research Group, holy shit, that's a fucking word salad. Not word salad, that's like a tongue twister for me.
It is.
Was held on August 25th in discussion issues surrounding censorship through the financial deplatforming. The names of certain attendees were not confirmed, but the meeting included international card brands, acquiring banks, payment processor companies, merchants, relevant government agencies, and others. Hiroshi Yamano said on X, "We held an inner meeting with the Visual Industries Strategy Promotion Research Group to discuss the credit card issue. We gathered the international card brands, acquiring banks, payment processors." Are you just repeating that again? And described the financial censorship and specific solutions for the matters, under the condition that the specific attendees and details will be kept confidential. So basically saying like anyone that attended this meeting, they didn't want to know that they were actually a part of the meeting. So they only agreed to it so long as their names weren't out there. The meeting follows the numerous individuals, businesses, and content that has been deplatformed financially in Japan and abroad, stemming from pressures someone along with the Akuro chain between payment processors, carriers, and international card brands. Meaning, of course, like the actual, like, you know, one person says no, that says no, that says no.
Yeah.
This has led to the prevention of transactions for and hosting of certain types of content. The controversies deplatforming comes from the fact that many of these transactions are from legal content, such as boys' love works, graphic violence, and sexual material. It is also stems
Boys
from
love. Are you serious, dude? It's like the least harmful thing.
Again, you have to remember that to them it is the least harmful. To us, it's the least harmful thing. But like again, I have to look at it as like, okay, so then why don't you do this to stories that Netflix are producing? Why not OnlyFans then? Why not all these other companies that are using you as payment processors that are creating these very same works you have a problem with? And the only reason I can think of it is because it's depicted in a cartoon form.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it stems from the perceived lack of transparency and inconsistent messaging as a source of reasons. These are the privilege of deny such types of transparency in such beginning issues. Notably, the following intensive backlash against the MasterCard last month after removal of an adult content on Steam of Itch. MasterCard stated that on August 1st, our payment network follows the standards based on the rule of law. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases of our network. At the same time, we are required merchants to appropriate controls to ensure MasterCards cannot be used unlawfully purpose. They talk about itch.io and the fact that they forced itch.io to basically remove a lot of their hentai games on there that, by all account, followed the law.
Yeah.
But the reason why this is such a big problem is because why they followed both international and Japanese law, because it was more, it can be seen like terribly by certain people. Meaning like some old Karen could be walking up into some boy's room and is like, "Oh my god, you're playing boys love?" And she could be offended by this in some way. Then that's where the issue comes from. It's not by the actual fact that you're like, it's that same type of tired ass argument.
But yeah, it still gives me trouble. Like, boys love, like,
I use that as an example because they
like,
did.
No, but boys loving Yuri. Like you don't mention Yuri, but not and only boys love.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Like it's toxic as the fan base, baby. Boys love is like the least harmful thing compared to other fucking genres.
Yeah, but basically the reason why I bring this up is because we see that this is starting to hit like a lot of major Japanese like politicians, their companies, their CEOs of their companies who make this stuff, and they are complaining heavily that this is happening, and literally been holding strategy after strategy meeting, trying to figure out a way to like find some sort of compromise, and Visa, MasterCard, and all the rest of them just aren't adhering to it. They don't care. Because they know all they have to do is continually forcing them to like pivot and be like, oh, well, we just won't let you use our cards and you won't be able to pay for shit. So Japan's like, well, we can't. What can we do? So some people have offered the idea of like just creating.
So they're going to damage control, basically.
Who, Visa, MasterCard? No, I wouldn't say they're going to damage control. They're just essentially denying it, and they're using argumentative claims saying that like, oh, well, we're doing it, we are abiding by the law and we're doing this lawfully by our own metric system. Like that's why they've been changing their policy, because now they have to actually argue policy is the reason why we're doing this and not because it's the law.
I see.
Basically they're saying we are above the law.
Like Judge Dredd.
Yeah. I am the law.
Yeah, like the Anthrax song.
Yeah. But no, that's essentially it. That's everything we want to talk about. Like I said, like all we can really do is see like whether or not like there's gonna be anything that happens with it from the FTC, and like if payment processors are actually gonna do anything, like if they're actually gonna change, basically.
Yeah.
But that was the last subject for tonight. I guess all we can really do is now talk about what's gonna happen for the future, and that is something I'm gonna like I'm also gonna make this post on my channel, and I think Bruto's going to make a post too. But essentially, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this stream. I will say this again. I'm pretty sure it's the last time, but I'm going to a bit more detail. This will probably be the last Anna Mondays for a bit, because my schedule is changing for the month of April, because my store is going through a renovation, and I won't be having the same scheduled hours as I used to. Meaning, I won't be...
We'll try to at least have a plan, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, okay, it won't work for at least the first 2 weeks of April, because remember, I have my vacation coming up on the 20th. So as soon as it's the 20th, I can actually record and stream again. The problem is for these next 2 weeks, I'm not gonna be able to, because my roommate works from home, and he works early in the morning to mid-afternoon, and he works phones, so he's gonna be on calls, so I can't stream during that time. And then on top of that,
and we can't be playing each other at the same time.
Yeah, and on top of that, the schedule I'm getting is going to be 2 to 11, so I won't be home. It takes me 30 minutes to get to work and then 30 minutes back. So by the time I get home, it's going to be 11:30 at night. By the time I'm done walking my dog, giving her food and everything.
But by the time we stream, it would already be a Tuesday, and it will no longer be a Monday.
Exactly,
you know?
like it will already be past 12.
Like
it won't even be on
Tuesdays.
Mondays. So it's like there's no reason and plus I'll be so tired I'm actually just want to go to bed. So just for the month of April, at least for the first half, there is probably going to be low streams for me personally, and no Anna Mondays for at least the first 2 weeks of April.
Yes.
So that's going to happen. I'm going to make a post just to let you guys know again. And again, I apologize. I'm so glad you guys have been coming here, checking out the channel, commenting.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love the fact that you guys have been commenting. You guys have been leaving likes. You guys have been talking with us, engaging with us.
Yeah.
It's been so great. So hope you guys continue.
Oh wait, hold up. Before we end the stream, Dula, I told you this, but there'll be something exciting happening this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You want to go ahead and tell them?
I'm going to a convention this weekend.
Yep, he's going to what again?
WeebCon.
Okay, he's going to WeebCon. Brutal.
Weeb.
Are you going to be taking any photos or anything?
Yes, I am. Of course, I am.
What?
It's like
why don't you?
There's gonna be so much VTubers coming in.
Why don't you also take some videos and you can upload them to your channel and stuff?
What's up?
You can make some videos and also upload them to your channel.
I'll definitely post them on my Twitter account for sure.
Nice. But yeah, so Buddha's gonna be going to WeCom.
I'll definitely give a personal shout out to you from one of your Oshis.
Aww.
Dulla-chan.
Yes. Buddha's gonna be meeting one of my Oshis, one of my main Oshis, the Dobo
We can't say,
Minto.
don't mention it.
Oh, I just said it.
What? You just said it?
Yeah, I just said it. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to say it.
Oh my god.
I'm
no,
sorry.
But there's another Oshi too. But I mean, he's got another Oshi too.
I got plenty. I got like 3 Oshis.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say the others.
Okay, I won't say the other one either. Wait, no, I've already said the other one.
No. There's another one that you like.
Right.
Not, but
Wait, but are they going there?
Yes.
Wait. Doggy Bird's going?
No.
Oh.
It's a hint is that it was from the drama of last year. Don't from it. Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Don't
I won't
say
say
it,
it.
don't say
Okay,
it.
I won't say it. I won't say it. I won't say it. Okay, but anyways, so yeah, that's what's gonna happen, guys. At least for the first, like, I'm gonna repeat myself. We're gonna make a post.
Yeah, and then also when we do come back from streaming, I'll definitely be talking about what happened there, and all that.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It's WeebCon, so like it's gonna be definitely a lot of things anime related. But also, when we come back from the break, there might be some
Yes,
changes
I'll definitely love
happening
to
with the
talk
stream.
about what happened throughout the whole week. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'll
but no,
definitely
there's definitely gonna be. I just expect changes to happen to the stream the next time we come back in like 2 or 3 weeks. So again, for the next 2 to possibly 3 Mondays, there are gonna be no Anime Mondays, and there's gonna be like almost no streams coming from me.
Yeah.
Just for April. Don't worry. This is not gonna. We're coming back with more Anime Mondays. There's a lot of fun. I love doing these. So be prepared for that. And I'm gonna be focused.
I mean, we're still going. We're already like being too passionate for this shit, you know.
Yeah, but
I'm
this gives me
loving
more
it.
time to focus on also creating more video edited content. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna be focusing on while I'm not streaming. So hope you
Yeah.
guys are gonna enjoy that instead. But I got nothing else. Do you just want to end it off now, Brutal?
No, I think that's already it. You know, I'm gonna say I'm definitely gonna have a blast this weekend. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I wish I could go too, but hey, you know, maybe next time.
Yeah, I mean, we live in well, not exactly the opposite side. We just live like.
Fuck, I don't mind taking a plane. What the hell?
Yeah, but.
Okay. Anyways,
still got
before we sign off, Brutal, what are your last words to the audience? Silence.
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Anyways, for me though, personally, I want to say again, this is only gonna be for 2 weeks, but still, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys coming check us out. I've enjoyed you guys' comments, the likes, and everything so far. It has been amazing. Thank you guys so much for listening to this dumbass speak about anime, and thanks so much for everything you guys do. And as always, I always want to say these words to you guys because I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys. Which is, no matter where you're on the world, no matter what time it is for you in the world, I want you guys to have a good morning, a great afternoon, a beautiful evening, and a blessed night. See you next time, guys. Bye.
And rock on.
That's your ending?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?